Welcome back. So I have more pictures from Thailand that showed up. As you may recall, I did a rather large photograph purchase from an eBay seller located in Thailand. And as a reminder, this individual, in my conversations with them, said that they retired, that they have a very extensive photograph collection which they brought with them. Based on their listings, I have little reason to doubt that. And he is just now slowly going through and selling them again on eBay. Something supposedly he had done in the past, and now he's resuming that activity. Well, he's now starting to pick out, sorting more items, more boxes, more drawers, etc. And I struck up a conversation with him previously about looking for Hank Greenberg photos. And for original photos, we basically came to a deal. And we have a flat rate worked out. Any originals that I would like to purchase, I can just submit an offer for at that set price that we agreed upon, and he'll accept, and we'll go from there. Some of these other ones, I wasn't willing to go up to that number because they're Type 3 photos. And Type 3, especially post-playing days Greenberg photos, do not justify that flat rate price, even at the significant discount that I have it at right now. So some of these were flat rate. Some of these I actually just put the minimum bid in his auctions, and again, they're Type 3 post-playing days, so I won those. But there's over 10 photos here, and there's roughly a dozen more to add to the collection. But let's go through them and see the interesting images I was able to secure. First one is from 1951, and it's Greenberg talking with Casey Stengel. Greenberg at the time was with the Cleveland Indians. Stengel was with the Yankees. And one's got to think that they were probably talking about some sort of trade or something of that nature. I don't know if anything came to fruition. Didn't bother looking up to see if there was any transactions right around that time. This is Winter Meetings, 1951. Next up, we have Greenberg basically right after he decided to retire from his playing days. And this is February of 1948. This is right before he signed with the Indians in a coach slash executive capacity. And he's actually golfing with a couple other executives, being Del Webb, owner of the New York Yankees, and Roy Hammy, general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, interesting company to keep on the golf course, considering he didn't end up with either one of those teams. In fact, he had just come from the Pirates. Only about a week before that one, roughly, or just under 2 weeks before that one, is Greenberg again in February 1948, swimming in the pool as he thinks about where to sign with. It's anticipated at this point he will sign with the Indians, but you just never know. So this is him relaxing, most likely in Miami. This says, one would think it's Miami Beach. It's actually in Phoenix, Arizona. And only a few days before that, this is more, kind of gives you an insight of where he would end up. So you have Lou Boudreau in the middle, Bill Veeck on the right, and Greenberg obviously on the left. So two gentlemen on the right, owner of the Cleveland Indians, manager of the Cleveland Indians, and Hank Greenberg, soon to be GM of the Cleveland Indians. This is again in February of 1948, just under 2 weeks prior to that pool photo. So that's all the executive photos that I managed to pick up. Now let's get into some playing days. This is a great, great image. Let me zoom in fact, a little bit. So this is Hank Greenberg and other draftees leaving the draft board headquarters for the induction station. This is May 8th, 1941. So this is a series of kind of the last images of Greenberg before he went into the Army and didn't return to Major League play until 1945. Now let's go back a little bit further. So recuperating from his 58 home run season in 1938, Hank Greenberg is seen here in, obviously, Miami Beach, swinging a bat on the beach. This is from January 1939. Just a really interesting image during the off-season. Another off-season photo just a month prior, December 1938. Just an off-season kind of all the award ceremonies and all the things that he was invited to participate in following his chase of Ruth's record. This is essentially half a photo that was used for publication. This is Greenberg during that celebrity time period. If we go 1 season prior, or 1 year prior, I should say, or from the last photo, it's actually a couple years. This is January 1937, and contrary to the newspaper reporting it, he's not signing a coconut, he's signing a conch shell. And of all places, in Miami Beach. I know, shocker. So this is Hank recovering from an injury-laden 1936 season in which he played very, very few games after breaking his wrist again early on in the season, after doing so originally during the 35 World Series. So this is Hank with a couple of small friends, giving them an autograph on a conch shell. Speaking of the injury-laden 36 season, this is late June of 1936. This was Hank being reevaluated by the doctors on his broken wrist, and when they basically told him that it's not healing and you're going to be out for quite a bit longer. He had broken it originally in, I believe it was late April 29th, 1936. This is 2 months later, June 27th, 1936. And the look of disappointment is very, very clear on Greenberg's face. He's not going to be able to follow up the 35 season and the World Series victory. And that wrist injury cost him essentially the entire 1936 season. Now this one was slightly better demeanor. This is the previous month in May 13th, 1936, and while recovering from injury, seen in an orator capacity, make an appeal for the City of Detroit's Sandlot organization. So even injured, he still did his best to contribute to the local baseball community, the local youth, the city of Detroit in general. And this is interesting because we're kind of seeing all different aspects of this injury in 1936. This is about a week after the injury. JoJo White came to visit a recuperating Hank Greenberg, and there's just kind of a look of shock almost on Greenberg's face. Whether it's from something that was said or Um, it seems to be more just of the situation. Um, Jojo White having a smoke in the room, and Greenberg just seems to be in shock that he's kind of in this position, not able to contribute to the team at this point. Now, prior to the season, you have Hank receiving many, many accolades. MVP 1935. And he's receiving an award in New York City in February of 1936. So just a few months, you go from this smiling demeanor to this look of shock, and then all the way to just that look of utter disappointment. So it's really a fascinating sequence of photos. And then the last photo I have for you, at least in this group, is from January 1935, and Greenberg is climbing a coconut tree in Miami Beach during the off season. Fantastic 34 season, heading into 35. The only problem with the 34 season is they lost the World Series to the Gas House Gang, but they would come back and be victorious in 1935. And this was the unique regimen of Greenberg, I guess, during the off season to build that strength and to stay in shape. But I think he's just having fun during that time period. So a really, really nice stack of photos, a lot of originals, some type 3s, but really kind of telling more of the backstory for Greenberg. And again, this is why I keep telling various people to really get into some of the old photos. And whether it's the originals, the type 1s, or it's reprints, if you PC a player, or even a particular team, having that kind of collection of photos gives a much more complete picture of that particular player. That sequence of photos I have from 36 is a prime example of what I've been telling everybody. You could look at a 1936 Gaudi card, and yes, it'll give you an image of Hank, and it'll tell you a little bit of information on the back, but it doesn't tell you about the trials and the tribulations of that season. Those photos, those expressions on his face, the disappointment, the determination, in trying to support the local baseball youth, have the disappointment, the shock, the joy prior to the season, and then moving forward into the 1937 and that off season. You run that gamut, and you tell all these different aspects of a player's career beyond the back of a baseball card. So seeing a picture of Hank walking from the draftee board to induction, it's him walking into the unknown, because it really was unknown at that time. No one knew whether he'd be away for 6 months or 5 years. And if it was longer, you didn't know if you'd be able to come back and play. If the desire, if the ability, if your health would even be there in order to play. So photos are, again, a fantastic way to really give you a much more complete picture of the human being that many people put on a pedestal. It gives humanity to the baseball player. It gives life to legends that are long gone. And it gives you a nice glimpse into every aspect of someone's career, someone's life on and off the field. Not everything, obviously, but it does add intrigue, at least for me, intrigue, depth, and let's be frank, a much less expensive avenue to pursue at times when collecting Hank Greenberg. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more in depth of kind of why I enjoy the photo aspect of collecting, of PCing Greenberg. And again, at least flip through some photos. You can do it digitally to start. Heck, you can even do that as how you want to pursue this part of your collection. I'm still a little bit old school. I like having the actual photographs. I prefer the originals, the Type 1s, even the Type 3s. And sometimes, again, when trying to get those harder images, reprints are fine. For the purpose of giving a more complete picture, a more complete story to the player of whom I PC, it's perfectly reasonable, perfectly fine to have reprints. So, anyway, that's what I got for you this time around. And until next time, please remember to collect what you enjoy what you collect, and don't let anybody, especially the market or a YouTuber, dictate that to you. And most importantly, have fun. And have fun by being active in this community. So find your way of participating. Whether it's making videos, watching and commenting, going to live streams, group chats, going to your LCS or local card show, or simply talking about the hobby with family and friends. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. The more you'll learn, the more your PC will grow, the more people you'll meet, and the more fantastic friendships you'll form. So I thank you very much for joining me. Hope to see you again. Have a good one, and bye for now.